Hi everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and today is a leave no dye behind video. I don't like to leave and waste any types of dye that I use, be it food coloring, acid dyes, or conversation candy hearts. These have also been sprayed with some color mist spray for a resist project, but I'm now going to use them to do some low immersion dyeing of some Knit Picks sock yarn. I'm pouring in some water that was a pre-soak from the Valentine's Day special video, and had the water with about 3.5 tablespoons of white vinegar in it. And we're going to reuse this dye bath. We're going to add on these candies and see what we can get. The sock yarn we are using today is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering Weight yarn. The yarn is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I use it a lot. I've even used it with these candies in the past, but it takes up color beautifully, and I'm really excited to see what we get. In 2019, they aren't manufacturing these candy hearts. And so that's a big reason why I don't want to leave any of this dye behind. It just seems wasteful when no one else is going to be able to get their hands on them. These hearts are all left over from last year. Let's take a look at the leftover hearts for today. I have some broken pieces, and then I have some half dissolved ones that were also sprayed with some pink color mist spray. These no longer have the messages on them, and you can see where they sort of sat on the sock blank. I think that those imprints are really cool. But I think that we'll still be able to get a really cool yarn out of it. Alright, we are nice and hot. Let's just get started with these pieces. I'm going for more of a random distribution today versus a sort of rainbow or gradient of some kind. Now, I mean, it's planned random in the sense that I will be sort of distributing things around. Maybe I should put some down so we get some of those red marks. And then I've got all this powder, so I sort of want to sprinkle it all on. Give us some nice little flecks of color. I'm unsure what these pink bits will necessarily do when they strike, but at the very least we can add some other color. And I do think that in some spots I'm going to want to add some a little bit below. Oh, interesting. You can see that little pink halo that's coming off from it. Now these guys that I'm dealing with now are a little more stuck together. But I do want to give our yarn underside access to some color, and whoops, things might get moved around a bit. That is okay. These are really, really fun to play with, and honestly, they have a lot more color than I expected. I was really, really surprised when I used them for the very first time. I was definitely expecting, I think, in that first time, something more, probably more dilute to happen from it versus these big pops of color. But you can see the marks that it's leaving behind on the plate. I'm going to turn the heat down. I am, attempting to insert things in a bit. I know that we are adding color pretty heavily towards the top, so I do want there to be something towards the bottom side. The reason why this works so well is because everything here is just food coloring. And so as they dissolve, we're getting that food coloring on our yarn. Let's see about adding that green sort of there. Ooh, we got some purples now. Let's add you there. All right, and I'm gonna go through and add the rest. We have now added all of the hearts. This is a reasonable portion of one package. Now, I probably could have added half here, flipped the yarn, and then added more to the bottom. I think, or I'm hoping, that the colors with this excess water will sink through and penetrate well, especially with the yarn so spread out. But we will see. Technically, I have 2 more packages if we need it. Now, this one's looking interesting over here. Yeah. I think that when I first saw these candy hearts, I really thought that the color was just on the outside, and that eventually you'd see the white interior that maybe you would remove. But there's actually color all the way through. So technically, I probably could have done another sock blank with these hearts. We just wouldn't have had the shape from the names on it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I could, look at that green. Like, I could pick it up and move it around. Ooh, and that pink. Oh, it's just so much fun to see the way that these colors are coming. That is, again, basically all from these candies. I guess at this stage, I do want to sort of give all of these colors access to some water. We do want them to dissolve. There is not a lot of water in here right now. We don't want all the colors to mix completely, but we want to give them, you know, a good chance to give their color to the yarn. And so that's why, you know, giving them a little bit of help, helping them sort of melt and dissolve and hopefully share some of their color with some of the areas a bit deeper. Oh, that's a nice blue. All right, I'm gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Then we'll come back and see how we're doing. During these 10 minutes, I did come through and sort of pat down all of the candies one more time. Mainly, you know, get it a little more water, maybe push some color down to the bottom layers. Certainly, the candies themselves have shrunk. The layers are a lot thinner than what they were before, but oh, these colors are so good. I remember being afraid the first time I did this, the colors would get so muddy, but ooh, it's just good and beautiful. All right. Ooh, I wonder at some point they might just sort of like dissolve and sink in when I push it. This one definitely will have a lot more candy in it than the blank, because on the blank I removed a lot of the excess candy. Oh no! Yellow friend, you can go over there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for 20 minutes. I might come back and pat it a few times, but I'll see you shortly. 20 minutes have passed and the candy is almost all dissolved. I'm going ahead now and I'm going to add, I think, a full cup more water. Just because I've been doing this uncovered and I don't want the levels to get too low, and you know, we want stuff to dissolve, but dissolve on the yarn, not anywhere else. Ugh, I am like really excited to see what the other side looks like. I am, yeah, I'm just really happy with how this is looking. I know that this one, like, I'm doing a bit more manipulation, and I think the last time I did this, I did like a full-on like immersion where I had more water and I just had these interspersed around the yarn. So I'm just really excited by everything that is happening here. So I'm going to give us a bit more time, maybe 10 or 20 minutes, to see if everything else will dissolve. After 20 more minutes, there's only hints of some candy left, and the rest has dissolved. I'm now going to add a bunch of water, actually, which is sort of, on one hand, it's a little funny because we are diluting the amount of acid that we have in here, but I do want to increase the liquid a bit because I don't want anything to solidify. So that's 1.5. I'm going to add one more cupful of water. Alright, and now I'm going to pump up the heat to get this nice and hot, which won't take very long at all, sort of giving it just like a nice little shimmy. But I want things to be very nicely submerged versus so we can get that last little bit to dissolved. But you can see just how quickly things have heated back up. And yeah, those last bits have basically all dissolved. Alright, but now we have things nice and hot. I'm actually going to turn off the heat completely. There's only a tiny bit, and I think if I run around checking, I mean, we're going to see a little bit of translucentness because there's a lot of stuff in here that is not the candy, but if I move it aside, like, you see that, that we've got the color is in our yarn. So I'm now going to go and let this cool completely, so that way we can wash it. And yeah, I'm really excited. I guess once it cools, then we'll flip it and take a closer look at the other side as well. Alright, it is the next morning, and let's take a closer look at our yarn. We have cooled completely, and there's definitely some more white on this other side, but we did get some pretty good color penetration. Just sort of a reference, things look maybe a little brighter, there's a little more purple, but I'm now going to squeeze out a fair amount of this water, and we're going to go wash the yarn. I am fairly confident that all of the dye is in the yarn, but we've got a lot of candy in here. And when I say a lot of candy, I mean there is a lot of candy. You see that the water is so very translucent. It's just a lot of stuff to rinse out, so we're going to need to do a lot of rinses. But at least our water is clear in the sense that no food coloring is coming. I'm now using just some clear dish soap, and I'll probably have to do this a second time. I'm not sure if the soap helps with the sugar or what, but there's a lot of stuff we have dissolved here, and we don't want it to stick around in the yarn. But our color is sticking around, so I'm going to go and wash this a number of more times, and then we'll hang up the yarn together. Here is the finished dry yarn, and this is a happy, vibrant, electric-y feeling yarn. There are so many colors that really stayed fairly locally. The superwash yarn is really great for that. You know, with a lot of acid, the food coloring will strike pretty much where it dissolves. And so that's what allows us to see all of these unique tones and really all the colors of a rainbow. I do wish that there were a bit more green in here, but that's really because there just was not a lot of green in my package. So it was a result of, what was sealed in the package versus the actual pigment from these sweethearts on their own. The yarn still has maybe a faint whiff of the candy smell, which, I don't know, is like generic, maybe slightly minty. And there are a few areas that might feel a tiny bit stiffer, but overall the yarn is soft, it drapes well, and the colors are bright and happy. I really wish that I would be able to buy more of these sweetheart candies this year, but you can bet I will be keeping an eye out for them in around Valentine's Day 2020. What do you think about dyeing yarn with candies? Let me know in the video description. I have a few other things that I tried that will be coming up on the channel, some of which that did not work as well as this, but I still love experimenting and would love to hear what you think. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and tap that bell icon so you get a notification each time I release a new video. Finally, did you know that you can get some ChemKnits merchandise? Through our Zazzle shop, you can get some really cool mugs featuring our logo or the signature Broken Violet colorway with knit with a DNA cable, and it's a great fun way to support the channel. Make sure you check out the Leave No Dye Behind playlist. I love to just play with whatever colors I have left over from any project and see what we can create. Thank you so much for watching.